Let's talk about frame. What is frame? This is something that all men have to understand, and he has to control it, okay? Frame is literally your world. Think about it as, if you want to look at the analogy, hey, there's a picture on the wall and it has a frame around it. And anyone who wants to come into that world, in your frame, that's the world that you've created. And you must hold that frame. Now, of course, that's a loose analogy, but I'm trying to get you guys to understand why it's important for you to hold frame. Let's go to Dr. Taraban. He explains it nicely.
Women reward men who use frame to create an experience for them to enter into. They do not chase down men who don't or won't do this. This is important to keep in mind throughout the duration of the relationship, as men will be tempted to surrender frame in a variety of ways over time. This temptation occurs in two primary ways. Sometimes it's the temptation to escape an uncomfortable emotional situation created by the woman in a bid for more power and control. As I discussed in the Easter egg hunt, these bids typically follow the PSA system of emotional manipulation, or pity, shame, anger, PSA. No matter the particular thumbscrew, the woman applies emotional pressure on the man, who then cedes frame as a way of buying his way out of a difficult dynamic. As I discussed in the book, in its extreme manifestation, this takes the form of an attempted hijacking, in which the woman threatens to leave or divorce if her demands are not met.
I think he broke it down nicely there for my ears. But sometimes I feel that men still don't really get it when it's that clinically expressed. Okay? So in this particular video, I want you guys to listen to other men who explain this concept to you. But by the end of this video, my friends, you have to understand why you must maintain your frame. Okay? Hit that like button for me, gentlemen. Please subscribe if you haven't already. And of course, book a session if you ever need any help from the older man. Hey, pick up the Content Creators Toolkit as well. Now, I just finalized this subject in my book on frame. And that's the reason why I want to cover this today, because it is an important factor for maintaining your relationship. So I want to give you another scenario. Let's just say you have your own house, right? You met a woman and she now has to move into your space. Your house is your frame. That is your space. That is what you control. When she moves in, what do you think automatically starts to happen? She starts to bring in all of her stuff. She starts to tell you, oh my God, you have no pictures. Oh my God, you have no cushions. Oh my God, you have nothing. And then she starts slowly pinking your house. I use the word pinking because most of women colors are quite feminine looking. You know, the pinks and the pastels and all of that shit. Our color palettes are significantly different from women. Whether you think that's social conditioning or that's just the way our brains work, it doesn't matter. Reality of it is, she starts to bring her world into yours. But slowly, she thinks that she controls your space. And once she gets her foot in the door, the space starts to change. And of course, you start to feel like, hey, you know what? She deserves to have a little space of her own. But then you realize that everything starts to change. The bedroom, the living room, the bathrooms, all to her taste, not yours, her taste. All of a sudden, the colors are changing in every single room. Eventually, my friends, she will take over that space. Once the space have been taken over, you got to be careful that you don't lose frame. Remember, she came into your world. She wanted to be part of your world. If she recreates your world to be hers, you no longer have your frame, your space. It's hers. And this is what you got to be very careful of, gentlemen.
Relationship ended because you lost frame as a man. Here's exactly what happens. You start the relationship as an equal, and you treat her well, and you're a gentleman. The problem is, it goes against the grain of biological nature. So in a month, nothing's going to happen. In 6 months, nothing may happen. But in a year, 2 years, she is going to turn on you because she does not want to have the power. She does not want to be an equal. You listen to her, and now you lost the frame. If you want to learn the...
All right. So all I'm saying, gentlemen, is once you let her have significant control in the house and then starts to change the trajectory of your purpose, she has now disrupted your frame. That, my friend, you should never allow. Never, ever, ever allow.
Females can fake it. They can put on makeup, hair extensions, BBLs, boob job, filters, and I can go on and on and on. But as a man, you can't fake that shit. You can't fake getting a strong body. See, your physique is the rawest proof of who you are. Every muscle, every workout that you show up to, every time you lock in on your diet so that way you can cut, you earned that. You can't buy it, and you damn sure can't cheat it. Women can say that they don't care about muscle all day long, but I call BS. See, just like men are wired to be, to notice curves of a woman, women are wired to notice strength. A disciplined, powerful body tells her you can protect, provide, and endure. It's biological. See, the soft dad bod culture, that's nothing to brag about. All I see is excuses to stay comfortable.
Okay, now he has defined frame in the physical sense, which is also part of masculine frame. When a man holds his body, his physical frame, hard, tight, strong, women respect that. They want to come into that. Her biology cannot resist that. I mean, we call it different things. Oh, he got such a nice body. He's sexy, open. The bottom line is he has frame. He has a physical frame. And it's important. This video here describes it even better.
I think the most attractive thing is if a man has a wide frame, big shoulders, deltoids, whatever it is. So what are some of the key exercises that a man can do to make his deltoids bigger and just have like a wider frame generally?
You have different research on universal attraction, what women are most attracted to in a man. Top of the list, universally across the globe, different cultures, is shoulder to waist ratio. Okay. So when you have broader shoulders, more of a taut waist, that's a sign of health. That is something you want to optimize for. Now, we're seeing new research that's actually showing that there's a clear-cut link between a man's waist to shoulder ratio and the woman's satisfaction in the bedroom. The number one sign that a woman was fully satisfied in the bedroom, there's a lot of things that they could test, and it was the shoulder to waist ratio. Interesting.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wide shoulders, bigger frame, shoulder to waist ratio. The feminization of the male culture starting to tell men, the whole, oh, we all love a little dad bod. Bullshit. This is the feminization of men. Women do not find that attractive. Now, women will say that because they don't want other women to come and grab your man. But I can tell you, if you go with that whole dad bod concept, your woman will start to dry up much faster than you can freaking... much faster than you can blink. I can assure you of that, gentlemen.
This is how women test your frame in relationships. First, they will pick a fight. Either they will do something or they will get mad at you for something. And if you react in a certain behavior, in a certain way that is emotional, you start arguing with them, you start getting into it with them, they have fucking won. When they control your emotions, they have the frame. They have the power. They have the leverage. The only person in charge with the frame in a relationship is the one that is detached. If you don't react, you maintain frame.
Well said, brother. Well said. And that's the reality of it. You must always stay in your frame. Anytime you allow a woman or a man to pull you out of your frame, your mindset, then you're in their world.
So what is frame? Frame is not some bullshit term that pickup artists came up with, or even I did not coin frame. That's actually a psychology, sociology reference. And I will say that a lot of the old school PUAs from the mid 2000s actually picked up on that, but they didn't create the idea of frame. The idea of frame is who has the authority in one particular context. So who is basically setting the nature of the conversation. I'll give you. It's really easy to understand frame from the position of a child. Okay, so if a child is 100% dependent upon its parents for food and for clothing and keeping a roof over his head, those children are in their parents' frame, and they will be for quite some time, right? Even after they're gone and adults, sometimes they're still in their parents' frame, because that's just they might have overbearing, domineering mothers, or they might have a very sort of, authoritative father. But the idea of frame is who's the authority in the context between two or more people. Okay. So when you go to work, if you're working 9 to 5 job, and you're there for 9 hours, right? You are in the frame of your employer. So whoever your boss is, whoever your supervisor is, you are for the duration of that day, you are basically selling your time for their money, and you have agreed to work within their frame. Same thing with the military. If you are in the military, you are in whoever your commanding officer's frame is at that time. So it's who is setting the narrative, who is the authority figure in that thing, whose world are you entering into? And we might enter into multiple frames per day.
And as long as you guys understand that, so now you have to think about your family dynamics. And if you are working within your wife or your girlfriend's frame, think about what that does to her psyche. She feels like she's in charge. She is the boss of the relationship. And like I said in practically every single video, once a woman leads a relationship, she will ultimately lead it to its demise, simply because it is her natural tendency, her biological imperative, that she wants a leader. And if she becomes the leader, you are no longer necessary. And it's as simple as that, gentlemen.
Here are 5 intangibles every man needs to master in order to consistently maintain his gentleman frame. Boom, boom, boom. His mind, his will, his imagination, his emotions, and his intellect. Those 5 things right there. The mind, understanding there are 2 parts of the mind, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. And how do we consistently utilize the conscious mind to reprogram your subconscious mind? That's 1. Number 2, your will. This is your resilience. This is the part of you that creates boundaries and enforces those boundaries no matter what, no matter who the person is. Your imagination, the proper use of the imagination, creativity, innovation, problem solving. Non-negotiable. Every man has to understand those 3 and utilize the imagination for that factor. Number 4, your emotions. This is the part of you that has the feelings. This is the part of you that can emote. This is the part of you that will help you develop deeper connections with men and with women. Okay? And then finally, you have the intellect. This is the part of you that craves knowledge, wisdom, insight, understanding. Once you understand how to master those 5 components and consistently utilize those with self-control, then you ascend to the gentleman's state.
So I don't want to beat this any longer. I think you've heard enough different opinions on what frame is. You should now have a very, very good understanding of the definition of frame. This is not a pickup artist. This is a real thing, okay? You just probably never understood it in these terms. But I know I get a lot of calls from men who are in relationships where the wife no longer respects them. And when I ask basic questions, I can clearly see that he's operating in her frame versus she operating in his. And this is what I want you guys to avoid. Okay, so my friends, please like the video on the way out. This is a short one. I just thought I'd bring this up because it got triggered in my head while I was writing my book, and I sort of laid it out. And hopefully when you guys pick up the book, you could see the solutions that I have provided in the book so that you don't fall into this particular issue of going into a woman's frame. And also, I have also provided solutions for when you have actually lost your frame, how to get it back and how to bring her back into that frame. So my friends, hey, look forward to that, man. Subscribe if you haven't. If you want a chapter of my book so that you can see that, hey, I know what I'm doing. Send me an email, paul@axanolderman.com, and I will send you the first chapter. Okay? So until tomorrow, my friends, remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you soon. Cheers.